Rise and grind, folks. Guys, I am on the way to a no AC call. This is a referral from an existing maintenance customer. Guys, this customer called yesterday. She said that she has an AC unit about 5 years old. It's still under warranty, and she's been having issues with whoever installed it. She said that the unit has been working fine up until this summer, and someone already came out to add refrigerant, and the second time that the unit crapped out after supposedly adding refrigerant, another company came out and did a leak check and told her that the evac coil was leaking and it needs to get replaced, and they gave her a crazy price supposedly. So now she's getting, I guess, a third and fourth opinion. I think we're either number 3 or number 4. And right now, guys, we're on the way here to do a leak check, and we're just trying to figure out if whatever is leaking, can it be fixed, or is it past the point of no return? Guys, let's find out. I'll see y'all when I get there. All right, guys, we're inside, and this is our indoor unit, which is an 80% Linux unit. And evap coil, this coil, as you can see, 1521. This thing is about 5 years old. Looks like they got the furnace and the AC replaced. And this is my outdoor unit, 1921. And guys, right now, I got the thermostat calling for AC. And as you can see, this thing is flat on charge. And it could have been a discrepancy from the last company that came out and did the leak check. But guys, I got my nitrogen and I'm not afraid to use it. Alright guys, let's turn the power off and let me get my nitro. I'm gonna get my drill, take this door off, and let's get to it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I got it up to 500. And no sounds, which is good. Checking my TXV here. No movement. Alright guys, what I'm gonna do, I gotta take this fan motor out. I'm gonna spray down the U-bends on my condenser coil. And if I don't get any action out here, the next step is we're gonna go up to 600. But let me open this up, I'll be back. Alright guys, check this out. It's been about close to 20 minutes. No sounds, no bubbles out here. And no sound, no bubbles inside. Now, I'm trying to make sense out of what was happening before the previous company came out. This customer said that, of course, the AC was running all day. It wasn't going down to temp. But she also said that it was making a noise. And based on the noise and it not working, the guy said that the evac coil was leaking. Now guys, we can only diagnose what we see. Of course, you can take information of what was going on as far as what was reported, but the fact that this thing is holding pressure at 600 for this amount of time, no sounds, no bubbles, and most importantly, my pressure is holding, this is a good sign. What I don't know is the condition of this unit prior to the first company coming out. We don't know what the air pressure was. We don't know if you had non-condensables in this unit. Did they pull a vacuum? What was the numbers? The customer doesn't have an invoice with the report as far as what they found when they came out. The only thing that she knows is that the recommendation was the coil being replaced. But guys, for sure, This is going to need to get a good vacuum pulled, and on top of that, we could put some dye in the system, so if something crazy does happen again, we'll have some type of physical to go off of. But guys, 600 is 600, and this isn't a large system. Like I said, this is what, a 4-ton? No, this is a 3-ton. See this? 036. Yes, this isn't a large system, so I got 600 is the standard for worst case scenarios, which is what we're in now. And the fact that it's holding, I definitely got some confidence in the joints, inside and outside. But alright guys, I gotta show the customer inside and outside. And she said that the last company that came out, they didn't show her any findings. They just came up there and told her that the evac coil needed to get replaced. But guys, let's do that. Let me show the customer what's going on, and I'm gonna give her the price for pulling the vacuum, refilling the system, and also adding the leak lock with the dye, and we're gonna take our chances from there. All right guys, I'll be back. 1 hour later. All right guys, I had this thing up to 600 for about 20 minutes. Nothing moved. I'll go to the supply house to get more nitrogen, and I come back and this thing is at, this is almost an hour later. This supply house run was about 30 minutes to and from. I get back and this thing is at 5:30. I want to show you something here. Look at both of these valves. You see that? Look at that suction line. You may think that it's still, you see nothing moving, right? But watch when I hit this here. See those bubbles? Trying to keep my hand still here, but look at this. That is definitely enough for us to lose pressure. And you guys heard me say this before, just take your time on leak checks. Best case, if it's a big enough leak, it'll be easier to find. But guys, something like this will take a while to show up, but still inside, everything is dry, no bubbles and no sounds. But the fact that I've seen a pressure drop within the course of an hour, I know that we had a very, very minuscule leak. And these caps are notorious over time for leaking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my Allen key set, and we're gonna tighten this up, and I might put some thread sealant on this as well. Let me get what I need, I'll be back. All right guys. I don't wanna strip these valves, but trying to focus this camera. See there, that's definitely better. No movement. I'm gonna put some sealant around both of the caps, and we're gonna get this thing in the vacuum. I'll be back. Guys, I got this thing in the vacuum. And the old saying is true, no two leaks are exactly the same. You guys seen me on a leak check, I believe earlier this summer, same exact issue, but the leak from that suction line cap was a lot stronger than the one we seen today. So same location, just a different rate of how it was leaking out. But guys, I'm glad I caught this, but prime example, guys. You're gonna learn something on every single service call. In this case, guys, with this leak check, if I only had 30 minutes to spare to look and rush and check everything, I definitely would have missed it. Within 30 minutes, I was still at 600 PSI. This thing took about an hour for me to see the pressure difference. So you guys heard me say this before. When you're doing leak checks, always give yourself more than enough time to take your time and make sure you go over each and every joint, each and every copper connection, every U-bend. But most importantly, give yourself time, because these small leaks is just weird, guys. I don't really have a science to it, but most of these leaks, even with enough pressure, up to 500 to 600 PSI, it still won't show, at least for 30 to 40 minutes sometimes, unless, like you said, you have a bigger leak. But in this case, guys, the fact that it took 5 years to leak like that, I mean, this isn't an everyday scenario. But I'm glad we caught it. We got the thread sealing around it. We got our caps on. I got the door on our EVAC. Now, I'm about to put the doors back on out here, and we're going to sign this customer up for maintenance. So moving forward, we can stay on top of checking our refrigerant levels next spring. And as a courtesy, we're gonna throw some easy seal leak sealing in here with the dye. We corrected the issue for now, but long term, if this AC system develops any future leaks, it's easy sealant. You'll see the dye wherever it leaks out at. You'll definitely see a stain, whether it be on the caps, whether it be on the joints inside or outside. We'll definitely know. But yeah, guys, that's all there is to it. Let me put my fan motor back on. And right tool, right job. You'll see in a second, guys, there is no space on the back end to take my screws out, to take the housing off. You could use your right angle drill bit, but having your stubbies, the long ones and the short ones, like you see on my hand. This one is the 1/4 inch stubby. These come in handy in the winter time for furnaces, and also summertime with tight spaces, taking the screws off the panels. Make sure you have it and you don't lose it when you do have it. But alright, guys, let me put this back together. I'll be back. Alright, guys, we got the lid on, and you heard me explain this in almost 1,000,005 videos. Always, if you're making a refrigerant related repair, always pull a vacuum. Now, guys, one thing I did explain to the customer, and I said this earlier in this video, I don't know what the operating pressures were when this unit was working. If the head pressure was, let's say for instance, 400, because they didn't pull a vacuum when they installed this unit. Guys, in Philadelphia, especially when it gets real hot in the summertime, regardless of what the head pressure is, you gotta assume that the head pressure is always going to be a little higher on hot days. And the fact that this condenser doesn't have any shade, if you did have any contaminants in this unit, I can guarantee this compressor is going to turn off on internal overload at some point in the summer. So the fact that we don't know if this system ever got evacuated and put in a deep vacuum, I'm glad that we're starting off with that now. And think about it like this, guys. Non-condensables is something that's not going to make a difference until it gets real hot. Guys, non-condensables, which is moisture and air, it gets trapped in the condenser, because now, guys, the condenser can't condense anything other than refrigerant. So that air and moisture, once it gets trapped in the condenser, now your head pressure goes up, and guys, excess head pressure on top of high ambient temperatures, now you're going to run a risk of, for one, this condenser losing capacity. So now, guys, instead of this condenser rejecting 3 tons of humidity from inside, now that 3 may turn into a 2. And on top of that, guys, now the compressor is going to overheat, because now the condenser cannot fully do its job because you have contaminants in the condenser. So long term, guys, I've never seen a unit that had high head pressure on a mild day last past a summer day when it got above 90 degrees. We always got that call back. And I mentioned that earlier in the summer too, guys. I was on the maintenance, and I think this customer had like a 20-year-old Carrier unit. Head pressure was like 450, and I told the customer, look, right now it's 50 degrees outside. It was pretty chilly that spring morning. Like I told him, it's chilly outside, so it's not gonna make a difference. But once it gets real hot, on top of the pressure you already have in the system, once it gets hot, that compressor is gonna trip. And that's exactly what happened. So we ended up replacing that unit. So guys, like I said, whenever you can prevent breakdowns, make sure you educate customers and make sure, for damn sure, make sure you guys are out here pulling vacuums. So, but all right, guys, let me flip the bottle. Let me crack open this vacuum. It's been running now for almost 40 minutes. But let me crack the vacuum and dump the charge, and I'll be right back. Guys, we got everything charged up. And we got a brand new filter in here. Everything's good to go. I gotta close this door because I know this return is definitely sucking in air from outside. Alright guys, that's all there is to it. Customer said that they got a leak check done and it was diagnosed to be the evac coil, but upon further investigation, we found the caps leaking. We rectified that situation, put the thread sealing on, and we put some leak lock in the system, filled the system up, and she's ready to go. And like I said, most importantly, we'll shoot back out here in the spring for a checkup, make sure everything's okay. There you have it. I gotta rock to the next call. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.